You know what's crazy? Every single year, there's this one moment that sets the internet on fire, and it's when Coachella finally drops their lineup poster. It doesn't matter if you're actually planning to go, or if you're just one of those people who scroll through Twitter to see everyone else's reaction. It's like the announcement has become its own cultural event. This year was no different, except it felt like the reaction was even bigger, mostly because people cannot believe who they managed to lock in as headliners. I mean, Justin Bieber at Coachella? That's wild. It's one of those things that you almost think would never happen because Bieber has always been this massive pop star orbiting in his own space, and Coachella, while huge, has sometimes had a harder time pulling pop acts of that caliber to commit. And not only did they get him, but they put his name front and center like a crown jewel on the poster, which says a lot about how big of a deal this is. The thing is, as exciting as it is to imagine Justin Bieber headlining one of the biggest festivals in the world, you also can't help but think about the risk. Bieber's had a rocky relationship with performing these last few years. We all know he's dealt with a lot personally, from health struggles to needing breaks from the spotlight, and it's created this unpredictability about whether or not he's in a place to take on something this massive. That's why so many people immediately started comparing this to when Coachella booked Frank Ocean. That whole mess is still fresh in people's minds. Fans waited forever to see Frank, he finally got the headline slot, and then the performance ended up being a disaster. He came out late, the set got cut short because of curfew rules, and the whole thing left such a bad taste that people swore Coachella would never take that kind of gamble again, which is why now, with Bieber, everyone's wondering, do they have a plan B ready? Like, did the organizers secretly line up backup performers just in case something goes wrong? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because the stakes here are high. But let's set the doubts aside for a second and just imagine what a Bieber set could actually be like. I don't care what anyone says, Justin Bieber is still one of those performers who knows how to command a stage when he's in the right headspace. And Coachella isn't some small arena crowd, it's a desert filled with tens of thousands of people, all buzzing for that one unforgettable moment. The thing that could make or break his set is the setlist itself. Because look, nobody is going to Coachella to hear him sing an hour's worth of deep cuts from his last 2 albums. People want the hits, the songs that defined entire eras of their lives. Imagine hearing Baby in a desert crowd of adults who grew up on that song. Imagine the reaction to Sorry, Love Yourself, or What Do You Mean? It would be insane. Nostalgia is a powerful drug, and if Bieber taps into it, his set could end up being legendary. On the flip side, if he tries to make it too much about his newer stuff, I think the energy might drop. Fans have been saying it online too. They're begging for a balance, a reminder of why they loved him in the first place. Now, what makes this lineup even more interesting is that it isn't just Justin carrying the show. Sabrina Carpenter being named as a headliner feels almost like a story ripped out of a movie. Not that long ago, she was performing midday slots, introducing new songs like Espresso to audiences who maybe weren't even fans yet. That one Coachella performance back in 2024 basically changed the trajectory of her career. She debuted a song and then it went on to become a massive hit, and from there her career just took off like a rocket. Now she's back, not as some newcomer proving herself, but as one of the names printed in bold letters at the very top. And the thing about Sabrina is she's not only grown musically, but she's grown into this confident performer who really knows how to own a stage. I watched her VMA performance and it's clear she's in her prime. She's not just that girl who used to be on Disney Channel, she's carved her own lane as a legitimate pop powerhouse, and Coachella feels like the perfect stage for her to cement that. And then there's Karol G, who honestly might be the most important headliner of all, not just for her career, but for what it represents. She's officially the first Latina woman to ever headline Coachella, which when you really think about it is both historic and overdue. Like, how has it taken this long? Karol G has been absolutely dominating over the last year. Her album Tropiqueta has been everywhere, her global tours are selling out, and she even performed at the NFL halftime show in Brazil, which is no small feat. She's one of the most streamed artists in the world, and her fan base is ride or die. People are literally booking entire trips just to see her perform live, and the energy she brings to her shows is unmatched. Even if you don't speak Spanish, her performances hit you on an emotional level. That's the magic of music. It crosses language barriers. And for Coachella, giving her this slot isn't just about booking a popular artist, it's about recognizing a cultural shift. This is representation that people have been waiting for. Outside of the headliners though, Coachella always has the element of surprise with the Undercard lineup, and this year is no exception. Addison Rae being on the bill has already sparked endless debates. For some people, it's exciting to see her growth. She went from being known primarily as a TikTok personality to releasing her own music and now performing at Coachella. That's a huge leap in such a short amount of time, and it shows how fast the entertainment industry is evolving. But of course, not everyone is rooting for her. There's already this narrative online of people dismissing her set as a bathroom break, and others joking that it's going to be the worst performance in festival history. But here's the thing, I've seen clips of her tour shows, and she's actually a lot better than people want to admit. She's putting in the effort, the choreography is tight, and while she might not be Adele vocally, she's creating an entertaining show. And honestly, isn't that the whole point of Coachella? Not everyone is going there for raw vocal perfection, they're going for an experience. And that's where artists like PinkPantheress come in. She's another performer who proves that music today isn't just about vocal ability, it's about creating a vibe. She doesn't belt out notes, she sing-talks in this high-pitched style so that's almost fragile, but it works, it's unique. And the crowds love it. When you're standing there in the desert with thousands of other people vibing to her tracks, it doesn't matter if she's not technically the strongest singer, it feels right. That's something a lot of people forget when they talk about festivals. These aren't talent competitions, they're collective experiences. And sometimes the best sets are the ones that just make you feel like you're part of something bigger, even if the performer isn't perfect. I think that's the real beauty of Coachella. Of course, everyone focuses on the big names, the headline slots, the star power. But ask anyone who's gone multiple times and they'll tell you the most memorable moments often come from discovering artists you didn't even plan to see. You wander into a tent to escape the heat, or because a friend drags you along, and suddenly you're watching a performance that blows your mind. That's the magic falling in love with music you didn't even know you needed. And that's what keeps people coming back year after year, no matter how expensive tickets get, or how exhausting it is to trek through the desert. When I look at this year's lineup, I see more than just names on a poster. I see stories playing out. Justin Bieber stepping into a role that feels like redemption. Sabrina Carpenter proving that she's not just a temporary chart topper but a lasting force in pop. Karol G making history and carrying an entire community with her onto one of the biggest stages in the world. Addison Rae trying to silence the critics and prove she belongs. PinkPantheress showing that music is about feeling, not technical perfection. Every single one of these artists represents something bigger than just a set list. So yeah, there's always going to be skepticism. There's always going to be people saying it won't work out, or that Coachella is past its prime, or that the lineup isn't good enough. But year after year, the festival finds a way to create moments that get burned into music history. And I think this year has the potential to give us several. Will Bieber finally remind everyone why he's one of the biggest pop stars of our time? Will Sabrina officially graduate into headliner royalty? Will Karol G's performance inspire future generations of Latina artists to dream even bigger? These are the questions that make this lineup so exciting. For me, I think the energy is going to be insane. No matter what, Coachella 2026 is going to be remembered. Whether it's because Justin Bieber shocks everyone with a flawless set, or because Sabrina and Karol completely steal the show, or even because someone unexpected ends up being the highlight of the weekend, the conversations are already happening. People are already marking their calendars, setting alarms for ticket drops, and planning outfits months in advance. And that's the thing, Coachella isn't just a music festival anymore. It's a cultural moment, a place where music, fashion, and internet culture all collide.